What's up, guys? Welcome to Level Up the Podcast. I'm your host, Chris Bowen. We look forward to talking to you guys today. What's up, guys? Chris Bowen here with Level Up the Podcast. Thanks for joining us today. I am joined by Nilson Silva today of Master Touch Outdoor Living. I have been blessed to have known Nilson for several years now. I've actually had the chance to go out to Florida and meet with Nilson and learn from him and kind of see what they're doing a few years back. And I couldn't ask for somebody better to be on the podcast. Nilson, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about your company.
What's going on, Chris? It's an honor to be here. I remember a couple of years ago, actually prior to COVID, first meeting. So it's good
Yep,
to actually make relationship outside the Facebook area, the outside
absolutely.
area. You know, a lot of cats out there just they're doing the talk, not the walk. My name is Nilson Silva. I'm the owner of operator of Master Touch Outdoor Living. We own a couple brands in the pool industry.
Yes.
I'm 34 years old. I'm gonna be 35 in a couple days, 14 days.
Happy
Um,
birthday.
yeah, getting old. So we're involved in a couple ventures where we own a software company where we do our own CRM. We own a leak detection company where we provide our own clients a leak detection side instead of having a single company doing it all. We have a side that does leak detection for us and to other competitors. We own a company called Step by Step Pools, which does more of like high end and unique service. Yeah, I mean, I've been doing it since 2009.
Yeah.
So it's been quite a while. I started with the pool cleaning. A lot of the guys usually will merge either like straight to remodeling and construction, or their guys don't start with the pool cleaning. You know, they usually don't go from building to pool cleaning, but I
No, it's
did go
usually the
from pool
opposite.
cleaning to, yeah.
So, and I think you've got such a unique story, man. Why don't you give everybody a little bit of your personal background? I think that's one of the coolest parts about this is kind of your success story, and kind of the American dream.
So I mean, I'm an immigrant. I'm from Brazil. As you can see, I don't look white boy with green eyes. Not that that's the look, but it's your standard, American eyes. I'm from Brazil. I was born and raised there. Migrated to the United States when I was about 12 years old. Ended up turning 13 in in March, and I was in Florida. I started being an immigrant, doing painting, doing all that kind of stuff where my parents, my sister, my mom were involved on putting me to work out there because I needed to maintain the home. So I
Yeah.
started, being a busboy, being a waiter, trying to juggle through stuff. And I was illegal in the country, not because I wanted to be legal, but my parents brought me when I was underage. And going
I mean, you
back
don't have a
to
choice in that. Yeah.
when you're 12, 13 years old, you don't have a choice of living by yourself unless you're
No.
super crazy about it. Um, and then I overstayed. I came to the US and I overstayed. So from 12 to like 20, 21, I was illegal, totally illegal in the country. But I already had started Master Touch. I used to work for a guy cleaning pools, and I was like, man, I can't be working for anybody. While trying to go to college, trying to be a computer software guy, college was just too expensive due to the fact that my credits were outside credits, was not like resident because I didn't have a social, I didn't have any of that in order to be able to pay for credits. Um, while doing that, I had a brother-in-law that was dating my sister, and he was doing pool service. He used to work for a company called Uniserve, huge at the time, probably 10,000 pools. It
Good
was
grief.
yeah. So you know how these private equity groups are acquiring everybody?
Yeah.
That had already happened before. So this group
Okay.
got all together, bought a bunch of pools, bought American pools, bought a bunch of stuff, and got into a big like a made a
Conglomerate, basically.
correct. And they had a different style. They only did pool service. They didn't do
Okay.
repairs. They didn't do anything else, and they wanted to do package like gold, bronze, or whatever.
Gold,
Um,
bronze, silver, platinum.
and they actually wanted to merge it with landscaping, so they would do the pool service and
Okay.
landscaping together. So it was very interesting, and he couldn't scale. And I was like, man, I believe I can do this, but I got no skills with my hand. I can't. I mean, I can do a couple things, but if you tell me to build a house or build a desk, if it takes a regular human an hour, it will take me three. Just I'm not handy. And
I'm the same way, so I get it.
so I'm like, I'm not handy at all. And at the time, he was like, bro, you can't do this. I'm like, yes, I can. Teach me
Yeah.
how to clean pools. So I ended up cleaning pools for a little while. And while doing it, I met a guy that was like, bro, I can put you on the first page of Google. I can do it. And I'm like, really? Okay. So I paid him a couple $100. I think at the time was $3,000. But Craigslist was probably the first thing that made me think outside the box. 60% of the local service in America
Yeah.
was from Google and Craigslist.
Yeah,
Craigslist
isn't
was your
it crazy
biggest
how that's
player.
changed? Now everybody's Facebook, Instagram, Google ads, but back then, yeah, I mean,
So
Craigslist.
Backpage and it was OXL, Backpage, and Craigslist. Those were your three major local listings. So I ran an ad, reliable pool service in Boca, reliable pool service in Coral Springs. And bro, I would pick up 30, 40, 50 accounts in a month without
What?
knowing what the hell I was doing.
That's
Because
crazy.
that ad would rank it on
Yeah.
Google right away because of the traffic. So I did that for probably 2, 3 years. And then I hired my first guy, hired my second guy. Then I sold a couple routes, bought a property. And while doing that, I just leveraged like I don't really know how to clean pools, but I do okay. I'm not great at it, but I got to get my money out of real estate. So I started doing a little bit of leveraging until I got into remodeling, building, and etc. And here we are today.
Man, that's incredible. What a story. So you've kind of, in the past, you've used the sale of portions of the business or the routes to kind of fund other ventures, basically.
Correct. Because
Yeah.
here's what happened. While driving without a license, I got arrested. While
Okay.
driving without a license, I
Yeah.
had no option. I had to survive. So I had to pay $10,000 to get out. I
Oh,
did have the money saved up. I paid, I got out. But while doing it, I didn't know how long would it really take for me to be completely legal. I ended up getting married. I dated my wife. I have two beautiful kids today. But it was
yeah.
just weird. So what I did was let me build a route and it would sell for 10 multiples. I don't know how it's in Texas or different places
It's very
of the.
similar. Yeah, it just depends.
So because I was grabbing anywhere between 10 to 40 accounts a month, multiplied by 10, quick money.
Quick
So I would
cash.
leverage. So I would leverage like, hey, I'm not going to put all my eggs in one basket. Let me leverage it out. So that would allow me to give me cash flow because at the time it was $75 a pop pool. Every pool was $75. And there were
Yeah.
no way for you to scale and actually make big bucks. You do a skimmer
No,
nowadays, you make $1,000. But with the pools, bro, you had to clean tons of pools. That pool a year would have made you $1,000.
isn't
So I
that
was like,
crazy? The Florida market's kind of weird. I mean, it's better now, but it's not like
it's horrible still. We're
it's
still at
not what it
100 and
should be.
we're still at 160 a pop per pool. Like
Yeah.
there's no money. Um, I go crazy when guys are still at old pricing. So I would use that for leverage. I would use that for all leverage because it's like McDonald's. I'm not flipping burgers. I'm in the real estate business. So I use
Yeah.
that for traction. That would allow me to buy a car. I needed to buy a car, would pick up 50 accounts, sell and buy a car. So that way I would
Yeah.
be
That's
debt
smart.
free.
Yeah, that's really smart. So when I sold my service side, we sold like 240 accounts. Um, and we reinvested it all back in the business. And yeah, it's good money. I mean, honestly,
It's
when you're
great
selling,
money.
stuff like that, you can make several $100,000 pretty easily. So if you're, only selling
We're
40
today at
accounts,
over we're today at over at 1,000 and probably 1,200 pools a
it's
week. So
crazy.
we do quite a bit of pools, but we continue to grow. We're not trying to sell. We're not. We get
Yeah.
approached often by private equity groups, but we're just in a unique situation because we're spread out too wide. We do remodeling, we do building, we do construct. Like
Yeah.
for me to get a guy that just buys my service side, he's not
It
going to want
doesn't
to
work.
buy the name. Like so,
Yeah, it doesn't work.
I'm playing with the cards that I have.
Well, and I think that you guys have done a good job, and I've always kind of said that this is the case, is that when you do service and construction, the service side really feeds the construction side and vice versa. If you're doing
There's a lot of
construction,
value on the service because there's a
yeah,
lot of cars driving by,
that's
and you
exactly
get the
right.
traction because people don't really notice
It's
branding,
marketing.
right? Like our brand is orange. There's a
Mhm.
little bit of blue there, but every company in South Florida at least are blue.
Yeah,
Every pool company is blue. And I'm
nobody has
like, man,
orange.
I want to go against the market. I want to
Yeah.
go against everybody else. So I hired a company, paid top dollars for it, but it was
Mhm.
worth it.
Yeah,
So the service side allows you to get that car driving back and
does.
forth.
Does.
The
Everybody
problem
sees.
is people don't people don't want the headaches that comes with the service.
I get
Because
it.
for 30, let's say you're making $50 per month on a pool. You get two, three phone calls for that person a month, you're done. You're gonna make money.
Yeah, that's true. It's true, but I look at it as a long game in that it's a marketing tactic because, like you said, people see those vehicles out there, they associate the name with it. Um, it's no different than running Facebook ads, in my opinion. You're building
So
name recognition.
what I try to say to others is the more hands you shake, the more money you make. So the
Yep.
more clients I am seeing on that weekly base, the
Yep.
more people I have opportunity. For example, we do close to none commercials. And you're like,
Yep.
why? There's a lot of money in commercial. Yeah, but if that commercial account cancels, I'm done.
That's exactly right. Yeah. There's a
I
lot of
rather
guys
have
that
I rather have 20 service.
yeah.
There's 20 more opportunities than that commercial because there's a lot of money to be fat on commercial from property. You got to pay people. Like you got to give
Yeah.
that kickback. And I'm not that guy. I like you either like me or you don't like me or else whatever. I'm
Well, the
just a
good news is
weird
most
cat.
people like you, I'd say.
Look, I've stayed a lot away from Facebook lately. I've been so busy growing. We got a second location in Boca. We got our headquarters now. You were at our old showroom, which was
Yeah.
tiny.
That
Now
was what,
we're,
like 2019, maybe?
yeah,
This was
that
right
was
before my
a,
first daughter was born. So
so
it's been a minute.
we're at a 11,000 square foot facility. So it's huge. We got bobcats. We got, um, like trailers. We have
That's awesome.
excavator. We have it all. So
Are you guys doing most of
it's
your stuff in house now?
80% of our, we don't shoot
80%.
gunite. Like we
Yeah.
don't shoot the gunite, the shotcrete, none of
The
that.
plaster.
Um, the plaster, we use the same guy for the past 12 years.
Okay.
So like
Yeah.
it's almost in-house, right?
Relationship. Yeah.
Um, but tiles are in-house, plumbing, electrical, most of it.
Yeah. That's a great way to do it. And if you have the volume to do it, it allows for you to be able to control
It's
the
tough.
schedule.
It's
It is
tough
tough.
because we grew too fast and we lack in procedures. And I'm not afraid of
Yep.
saying it. A lot of people are like, how do you do, Nilson? Bro, there's so many things that I can improve. Like
Yeah.
before our call, I was looking at my list of like, what are things that I need to cut? Why my overhead is at 28% when it should be at 15. There's tons of
Hey, I've
stuff
been
that
there.
I'm going through.
Growing
And
pains.
we grew too fast.
Yeah. Hey, I've been there. I trust me. I understand fully. It's why people that are starting a business now, I think it's so important to develop a lot of those SOPs. In the early stages before you get to that point to where you need them, because once you need them, it's too late.
So
Yeah.
I'm in a lot of ventures such as painting. I've
Yeah.
done HVAC. I've spread it out myself a lot.
You
And
own
the
an
other day they got,
interior remodeling company too, don't you?
yeah, uh-huh.
Yeah.
I own a bunch of stuff. I do real estate. I do cars. I do a bunch of stuff. And I don't think I have enough time, right?
Right.
We own a printing company where we print out our own wraps and stuff, our
Oh, that's
wall
cool.
wraps and etc. Because of volume, like we have over 50 vehicles
Yeah. So you
that we
have
got
to.
to print. So like we're our own client, right?
Yeah.
And one of our partners in it, he was like, I'm like, bro, the office is a mess. He goes, I get it, I don't have time. I'm like, you think when you grow you're gonna have time? You either fix it while you're small or you're
Yeah.
not gonna fix it when you're big.
That's
That
exactly
mentality
right.
that like, oh, I'm too small. I'm like, doesn't matter. Start them young. Start them early.
Well, I think a lot of people's mistake is thinking they don't have time. No, it's not that you don't have time. You're just not managing your time as
You
well and
either
as
want
efficiently as
you
you
either
could be.
do it, you either do it, or you find an excuse.
Yeah, exactly. Like
You
you find a way to
your
do it when you
your
need to do
wife was
something.
at the hospital. You made it. You could
Hey,
have
I'm still
chosen
here.
to
Yeah.
reschedule. So like, it's how bad you want to do it. You
That's
know,
exactly what it comes down to.
I tell my people that follow me, that ask how I did it. It's consistent. It's doing a little bit every day, all day, every week, every year.
Well, and I think it's
There are
having a consistent
times
drive. I think so many people think that, hey, I'm going to put in the work for 6 months and I'm going to make it. No, you're going to put in
there's
the
not a
work for
se-
10 years and you may get lucky and make it.
there's a difference between like being disciplined and being driven, right? Like
Yeah.
there are people that just do it just to do it. Like they wake up, they go to work. They have a discipline, but they're not driven to do more, right?
Yeah.
Like they have to have a purpose. I'm disciplined to wake up, or I'm in a routine, right? Like if you're in a
Yeah.
routine, you're just doing automatic, but you don't have the drive of the discipline. That discipline has to have a drive.
Well, I think that's the big difference between people that are destined to be employees and people that are destined to be business
Everybody got to
owners.
find out who they are,
That's exactly
what
right. Not
motivates
everybody
you,
set
like,
out to do it.
and you got to find out why, right? Like, why am
Hmm.
I doing this? It's not for the money. The money is irrelevant to a point.
Money's
Like,
nice, but it doesn't solve everything and it doesn't create happiness. It does make some things easier, but
of
I mean,
course, you be in a better place. You can go to any restaurant. You
yeah.
can buy any house you want, maybe any car. But it gets to a point that it has to be more than that.
Well, that's exactly right. I mean, how many people have 10 cars and they drive one of them? So what's the purpose?
So, like,
They don't have
so
one.
for me is to try to leave a legacy, right? Change
I love
people's
it.
life. Like all the employees, like some of them bought houses after working for me. Some of
It's
them
cool.
put their kids through college. So like the goal is like put a vision for them. Like when I hire someone, I'm like, I want to dream for you. What are your dreams? Like, what are your goals in life? Give me your 3, 5, and 10-year path.
I think that's important. I think that so many people don't do that for employees. They may do it for themselves, but I think that
Nobody
if you
really
have an
cares.
employee,
At the end of the
well,
day, nobody really cares. That's the sad part.
yeah,
And it's finding out the key players is
it
who
is.
are going to be the people that I can count on to help me go to the next level.
Yeah, I think that's a huge part of it because not everybody's going to be along for that journey. Not everybody has the drive to be able to, or the work ethic to.
So I don't try on talent. I try on I hire on drive. I
I
don't
do too.
hire
Yeah,
on talent because you can be extremely talented, but if you don't have the drive, the discipline, the heart, you're not gonna do it. Like
you'll
you're
never
just
succeed. No.
so from like I'm honestly, if I was out there working, I wouldn't hire myself. I'm horrible working, but I can think outside the box. So my job as the company is finding out where each player goes. That's what I try to
Yeah.
do. And a lot of times I remember on Facebook back in the days, I would fight with some of the people like, oh, you do it this way. Can you do it better than me? No, then shut up. Like, if you've done better, no, then like relax. I remember,
That's exactly right.
and people always have something negative to say, but like,
They
wear
do.
my shoes. Put my shoes. Like, you're American, you were born here, you had a green card, you had the culture. I guarantee you, and it's not about being racist or not. If I had a white boy, 6'5", like 5'9", 5'10", under 6'5", okay? Standard height, blue eyes,
Yeah.
blonde hair, bro, my selling ratio would double. I don't care what anybody says. People like people.
With you, it's no different than putting an attractive woman in front of a video versus me. You know what I mean?
Correct.
Like,
Like,
it's just the way it
don't
is.
sit in, don't sit in here they don't have an advantage.
Yeah.
I have an accent. Oh, okay, you've been here a long time. Doesn't matter. I have an accent. My writing skills are worse than yours, just because who I am, not because of a language barrier now. But if the white boy is there selling, he's gonna close it higher than an immigrant.
Yeah, I
Period.
would say 90% of the time, in my opinion. Yeah,
But
absolutely.
but they're finding excuses. Oh, you do that, bro. I was broken, didn't have money, didn't have papers. What's your excuse? That I'm smarter than you? I had the same opportunities as you did. Actually, I had less. So people
That's
just
exactly right.
like they're just bitches. I'm sorry, but like, so don't
Hey,
say
it
to
comes
me on
back to that
Facebook.
work ethic that we were talking about, man. The drive, the discipline, the work ethic. You could be incompetent when it comes to the actual, task itself, but if you work at it and you have the drive and dedication, you're going to succeed. It may take
Yeah,
a little bit longer, but you will succeed.
I think
No
anybody
different
can
than
do it.
fucking.
I went to the pool show and I brought 18 of my guys. We're the
That's
biggest
awesome.
gang in there, and people are like,
Yeah.
why do you bring them here? I don't bring them to the show. I bring them to the gathering after the show. No, I bring them to
Okay.
the gathering after the show. Inside the home that we rent, like 15 beds, 20 beds, whatever the count was. Bro, we're playing Uno. We're going into the pool. We're barbecuing.
Team building.
We're, you're team building. You're building a
Yeah.
culture. So, like,
I
if I
love
were to
that.
give any advice, like, build a team. You can't do it alone. You're not gonna do it alone.
That's spot on, man. And that was something that I used to preach a lot too is I want to have that kind of that family culture. I want to have this to be a place where people want to come to work every day. And I think that that's something that a lot of people forget about is in order for people to succeed and your employees to succeed, they have to enjoy what they do. And if
Everybody
they're
has
not
to win.
enjoying it, yeah, if they're not
What's the
enjoying it, they're not going to stick around.
I joke with the partners that I have in some of the business. I'm like, look, I want you to be rich. He goes, why? Because I want you to buy the boat so I don't have to maintain it.
Right? True
So, like,
story.
everybody has to win. And in order for us to treat our employees right, we got to charge it properly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, but I'm not charging too much, or I'm not charging too little. On Facebook, you often see guys like, bro, you're undercharging. How do you know?
Well, they
You
don't know
heard
what
it.
your overhead looks like. How do they know?
Or no. Let's say you're undercharging. Like, they'll complain for things they haven't seen or they heard.
Yeah, they don't know.
And I'm like, so
They don't know.
he
It's sort
might
of the
grow.
guys that complain about certain builders that it's like they complain about, let's throw it out there, Lucas Lagoons, Lucas Cogman. I see everybody complain about that guy online, but you know what?
Do what he
That guy's
does.
pool start at like 250K, half a
Make the
million
money he's
dollars.
making. Look, make the money he's making.
That's exactly right. You know what? That's why they're complaining about it.
And I could be wrong, but I think they sub it all out. I think Van Kirk does it.
Mm-hmm.
A big builder in our region. The guy's charging you 1.5 on a pool. Can you charge that? You can't, then don't
You
complain about
can't.
the guy.
You won't pay it.
The problem that I see is people usually complain for people they want to be, right? Like, they're complaining because the guys are above them. Nobody complains for someone that it's under you.
No, no.
So,
And
like,
I had a post on Instagram today, and it was if seeing someone else winning makes you jealous, you'll never win. And I think that that kind of applies here in a lot of ways. That seeing these guys be successful, if that makes you jealous, and that's what you're going to go on Facebook and social media and complain about,
you
you're
speak
not
what
going to
your
ever
heart
get
is
to that
full
level.
of.
Yeah,
If you're
you'll never
full
get
of
to that level.
hate, if you're full of hate, that's what your heart is. Maybe that's why you're
Mm-hmm.
not being successful. So usually what comes out of your mouth is what your heart is full of.
That's exactly right.
So, like, I'm the type of guy that, like, if I can put you on my shoulder for you to see it further, why not? Why do I
Mm-hmm.
have to put you by my side? I want you to go further. I want you to, like, kill it. Like, if I
Yeah,
can make it easier for you, why not?
that's exactly right. Why not want that success for everybody? Why would you want somebody to fail? That speaks more about you than it does about others.
It's
So
tough.
it
It's
is.
tough. But my
So
goal is for the industry to get together and grow with them. Um, Teach one another. Like I didn't have a mentor. I figured out stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I think I never really had a mentor per se, but that's what I loved about networking is that I got to meet so many people and see kind of how they did it and what they did to be successful. And I think that
My
that's
issue
one
was
thing that
nobody
makes,
allowed you to shadow them.
yeah,
And sometimes
well,
I wanted to shadow someone to just learn.
yeah, that's how I feel too. I think that we need to get away from seeing everybody as competition and
There's
let's
enough
grow
pools
together.
for everybody.
Yeah, let's grow
Look,
together.
if
Let's all
if
grow.
if we if we, in my opinion, if I literally like grab 300 other pool guys and put it in my region, there's still enough
Work
pools
for
for everybody.
everybody. Oh, by
Just,
far, by far. I think that's what
so
a lot of
like,
people don't grasp is that there's so much work that's out there. You'll never get to the point where one person has all the work ever.
it's putting a little bit every day, and it's what I continue to say. Show up, do what you're supposed to, tell the truth, do the American value, right? Look people in the eye, do what you're supposed to, show up, don't show up half stoned, don't, don't take people's money and run away. We see a lot of stories nowadays on our
Yep,
Facebook groups. And keep it humble, man. You don't have to show what you've got. If you can fight, you don't have to tell anybody you can fight.
that's exactly right, man. You're
Like
spot
there's
on.
there's no proof on that.
Man, I want to give you a shout out real fast. I saw you guys made top 50 service companies again. So
Yes, 3 years in a
congratulations.
row.
That's
Thank you.
incredible. You
That's a
guys made the
big.
top 50 remodeling too, didn't you?
I think so. We don't know yet. It hasn't come out. They started
Okay.
rumors yet.
Yeah.
Top builders. So let's see how that
Hey,
goes
that's
because,
awesome, brother.
bro, I mean, coming from nothing and achieving numbers that we have, I mean,
Yeah.
we've broke, we've broke, a
A lot of
large
records.
number, a
Yeah.
lot of records. I mean, we started with $3,000 and we've done over 10 million. So
That's incredible. Yeah, and for those of our listeners who don't know, I'm talking about top 50 service companies for pool service and top 50 builders for nationwide. So huge accomplishments in the pool industry. Um, yeah, it's just incredible.
I think there's over 10,000 companies running for it. I know
That's
there's a lot of
crazy.
requirement. Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah, it's a huge amount of people that put in for that.
And
So
continue to be there is also tough because there's a
yeah, you
lot
got
of
to
new
continue to
upcomer
grow.
guys. Yeah.
I
And
think
you've
that's what
got
a lot
now,
of people.
and you've got like National Pool Partners who has, I don't
Yeah,
know, 10,000
10 million
pools.
accounts now.
Yeah, freaking Pool Troopers, huge account. Like you've
Yep.
got big dogs that, how can you compete against them? Who has
Yeah,
that
these
much
are
money?
nationwide companies. Yeah, that are private equity backed. So it's a little different, when you're
But they're
competing.
there. They're spot one or two. But like, I always look at them. I'm like, I'm coming for you. Just relax.
That's
I'm
exactly
on my
right.
way. Like,
You better wait. Yeah, I'm
yeah,
coming.
like I'll be there. I don't know how long, but I'll get there. So
I love it,
that's a
man.
motivation that I have. Yeah,
Absolutely,
man.
brother. I love it.
Always thankful to learn from you. I follow you around, your marketing strategies, all the
You
stuff you
should,
put
man.
it out there. Um, and whatever I can do to contribute to the industry, to even guys who are starting out that don't know what they're doing or they're trying to learn or they even want to visit a facility. I would say, look, we're open book. You're welcome to come here to learn and give me a call on anything. If I have the time to help you, I will. Like there's no I put my
I
ego
think we
aside.
need more of that. We need more of that in business in general. And that's what I love is back in 2019, man, you were an open book to me. You allowed me to come in to your home, have lunch with you, show me around, show me what you guys were doing.
I gotta find
Um,
that picture. I still have it.
I was gonna say I
Maybe
probably still have it somewhere too.
yeah, I gotta
Um,
get your face on my iPhone and then do the matching. That way I don't have to search it. Or if you
right?
give me the date
I don't even
approximately, I
remember.
can.
It was spring break, or I believe around there, 2019. But I
And
don't
then
know the exact
you could
day that
use that
we.
on the podcast. So
Yeah, we
it's
were.
it. I always say it's good to make relationships. That's
Yeah,
there are a lot of guys on the Facebook that I still consult and talk to on a monthly basis.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember, speaking of pool partners, Hal was always big about that as well. Of,
I see him
anybody's
at
welcome
some
to
of the
come.
shows. I see him at some of the shows. I will approach him like, "Hey, man, what's going on?" and etc.
He's an
And
open book, or
yeah.
he used to be an open book. I haven't talked to him in a lot of years, but
No, I think he still is. I saw him not that long ago. Now he's the main CEO.
yeah,
Um, so
yeah, they got a lot going on. I think they're over 10,000 accounts now, something like that. Probably,
I don't
probably
know. I
knocking
don't
on the door
know.
of 15 if I had to guess.
I don't know how they do it with
I
the
don't.
staffing. So, but you're doing it.
Well,
I don't know how they're
what's
doing it,
crazy
but
is they
they're
don't have it all under one brand either. I'm kind of shocked by that. They maintain individual brands a lot of times too.
yeah. But I think eventually they're gonna consolidate because I think their goal is to eventually be bought out by
Somebody else.
SCP.
Yeah.
I think eventually SCP and Heritage or whatever, they're gonna try to go into the pool accounts.
I don't doubt
So
that. I mean, I think that was strategic in SCP and buying Pinch a Penny. I think that was part of that. They're working their way towards that.
true.
So
So we gotta wait and see what the future holds, man.
that's exactly right. Well, brother, I really appreciate your time today. I appreciate you coming on, man.
No
And it's
problem.
always a
Anytime
pleasure
I'm
talking to
here.
you.
Awesome. Great to have you. Send me the link. I'll blast it on my meeting.
Awesome,
Whatever I
brother.
can count me as a partner, man. Good
All right,
talking
brother.
to you, brother.
Have a great day.
Bye.
All right.
You too.